Doug Rising Show. Well, the Doug Rising Show. Well, the Doug Rising Show. And I'm Doug Rice. I mean, come on, guys. Can I get some more horn? I need more cowbell. That's what I need. How are you folks? Good morning. The Doug Rice Show. I am, baby, the Doug Rice Show. You know. Okay, that's enough. 10 o'clock in the morning. This is Doug Rice. Welcome to the Doug Rice Show. Please be sure to hit the like button, to hit the share button, to hit the subscribe button, and for the love of God, hit the notification bell. What the hell? They will not inform you that I am off. That will not happen. I just want you to know that. They keep me under wraps, and I'm fine with that. My numbers are small. I'm not here for numbers. You guys know it all. But I am Doug Rice, and I thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. This will be a daily effort, starting promptly at 10 if I can help it. And if not, well, I'll accommodate. I'll either do it early or I'll do it late. And so we go. Well, is everybody waiting for Donald Trump to show? Because he's going to show. And when he does, well, we all know he's going to show his monkey ass. He's going to show he has no class. He's going to show Negroes he has sass. Yes, he is. Now, you understand when he goes down there, he's going to be surrounded by brothers and sisters with badges. The irony of it all, let me tell you, short and tall. Yeah, he's going to be uncomfortable for a little bit. But you can best believe he will get over it. And after that, he's going to start some shit. And you can believe that he will never quit. Welcome to the Doug Rice Show. It's 10:02 in the morning on the 24th of August. It's 2023. How much longer, Negroes? How much longer? I don't know. How much longer must we endure the piles of heaping manure that these folks keep creeping more and more for damn sure? Look, folks, I've had an epiphany. I've had can I say revelation? I can say revelation, right? I've had a revelation. I've had a removal of the veil. The scales have fallen from my eyes, and now I realize, folks, not to your surprise, Negroes, we got to go. We're going to get into it. Black Expats in Africa is today's topic. We are going to do a single topic. We're going to focus on that topic. We're going to report the news on the topic. We're going to see the pros and cons of it all. And again, if you appreciate what I do, and I pray that I get better for you, do me a favor. If this show is your flavor, give to the below streaming edifices that allow you to support this show. Patreon, which, Patreon is there, right? And of course, we have Fundly. I've not checked the Fundly account in a while. Could be millions in there for all I know. I don't know. But the quickest way to support, of course, would be Cash App, PayPal. I don't know. I threw it out there. That's the company PayPal because, look, folks, I do have a company. I'm not just going to solely rely on my brothers and sisters, my fellow Negroes trapped within this penal colony built by our own hands. No, I will not demand that you fully support me. I will do everything I can, you see, to support myself. But as we all know, this is not the Help Out Negroes show. This place is not built for our kind of face. This place is built for others. If I had my druthers, I'd be out. But until then, I will scream and I will shout and I will ask my fellow family for assistance. Forgive me for the earlier resistance. All right, how's everybody doing? It's 10:05. Now, I'm leaning into this topic today, folks. I'm getting into the weeds on this because it's imperative that we know what to do. I'm watching Donald Trump, and let me just say that today is the day, the beginning of the beginning, yet another day. Yet he will be arrested, put in chains, so to speak, figuratively, literally, indubitably. He will be locked up. Donald Trump, that's right. What's up? And that's going to send a caucastic reverberation throughout this racist nation, and it's one all Negroes must face, and I cannot allow you to do so with a goddamned grin on your face. I know I said face twice, I don't care. All right, so what do we do? Well, I'm going to tell you, the experience is what I'm hearing echoing in the community a lot these days is leaving. Now expatriate, an expat, is the coined phrase that white folks use when they don't want to be called immigrants in the country that they moved to. Let's establish that. And so a black expat is exactly that. But there is another term that I have learned. They're very interesting. And that is the diaspora, or whatever you want to call it. It is an interesting dynamic. Now, the diaspora, these folks, I'm gonna define it, if I might. Here we go. Let's make sure everybody's in sight of that. Here we go. All right, so diaspora, I don't know, I'm hoping I'm hitting that right. The diaspora refers to a large group of people who share a cultural and regional origin but are living away from their traditional homeland. Diasporas come about through immigration and forced movements of people, and that comes from the National Geographic Society, as Detrina, let me mention my moderators extraordinaire, Detrina and Antoine Anderson, have told me that I must give due credit where credit is due, and that is what I've done for you. So diaspora refers to a large group of people who share a cultural and regional origin but are living away from their traditional homeland. So expat is not necessarily the correct terminology, unless I would say that you either deny your patriotic fervor or give up your citizenship. Otherwise, diaspora could be referred to who I am referring to during this monologue. And so with that out of the way, what more can I say? Well, we're talking about going to Africa, right? Everybody wants to go to Africa. I mean, I'd love to go to Africa. I had a while back something called the Agenda Community, and the Agenda Community was an acronym for the Association of Geographically Enslaved Negro Descendants of the Americas. Website, everything, talked about it. It's still up there. And it talked about leaving, and it talked about getting out. But I paused on that cause for a moment, and I gave it a little secondary, momentary thought in just trying to be as conscious of scriptural instruction, in that the Creator, God Almighty, will deliver Negroes from this place. And yet, in my face is also the scriptural instruction that we clear out of Babylon so that we don't suffer its destruction. And so that leads me to today's show. Let's talk about what happens when some of us go. So here's what Black expats wish they knew before relocating to East Africa. Now, family, look, this is going to be a close examination of topics in the for and against frame. And then I will tell you my thought, allow you to talk amongst yourselves, and we'll call it a day. But here's how we open. Here's what Black expats wish they knew before leaving. There is something about relocating to East Africa that gets us excited and ready to book that one-way ticket immediately. Well, with Black expats taking the cues and making homes around the world, East Africa is a favored destination. Rich traditions, bustling art scenes, magical safaris, and diversities in language and landscapes. This is a top noir region. So we spoke before Black expats who live or have lived in various East African countries to share their experiences. And they have a lot of eye-opening thoughts to share about the expat journey. And here is what to know. So we're going to take just a glance. Here we go. This is a YouTuber, Princess Living Free. Hello, Living Free. Ethiopia. She moved from Ethiopia to live in East Africa. Lived there for 2 years as a Peace Corps volunteer, pretty familiar with the country. And she knew what to expect. She knew to expect before returning. This time around, she had never lived in Ethiopia as a wife and mother, nor had she lived in the country's capital city, Addis Ababa. Here are a few things this new experience has taught her so far. Boom, detox period. Interesting, you must have a detox period. One thing that they came into awareness, and I found that to be the case too. You got to do all of these things. You got to get used to doing without. You may have left Babylon the West, but the Babylon the West may not have left you. This is one thing I also experienced during my first go-round in Ethiopia, but definitely hit me the second time around during the first 6-8 months after arriving. You may experience Western world withdrawals, especially if you came from Europe, America, or places like that. Ethiopia is a developing country, so many of the comfort, standards, luxuries that exist in these countries are not yet in place. Power, water, certainly not uncommon, but more flying and crawling guests in your home than you're used to. So there are bugs, accessibility, reliability, Wi-Fi. Bad deal. They're not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but it does take time for you to get used to a new way of living. However, if you stick it out, you will make it through the detox period and the West will be purged from your system. All right. Very expensive. There's another. Get used to it. Choose location over house. Living there, location you live in is more important than the kind of house you live in. Don't care how big, beautiful, and new the house is. If the house is not in close proximity to the groceries and restaurants and cafes you've all become accustomed to, some of us, you may feel stuck. So there's one. Can you move to Somali? Someone from the diaspora moving back to the homeland, you'll be full of excitement, hopeful for opportunities, but it's also important to recognize privilege and to be mindful of not occupying opportunities that are there for citizens. Now, ladies and germs, I tell you, you're going to go, if you're going to feel welcome, if you expect to feel welcome, that may not be a welcome feeling. Embrace the local culture and food. Get used to that. Get out of the capital cities. Interesting. So Tanzania, here's another one. San Diego to Tanzania, served in the Navy, went over there. Language, you got to worry about that. Says that Tanzania has been a mirror to me. It has reflected to me the great and not so great parts of myself on this journey. I have no idea how being somewhere else might do that. Hustle, I'm sure they do hustle. Immigration is not an easy place to relocate. So, okay. So we've covered first base. We understand first base. We understand that folks are going over to these countries. And as I said, since we remedied and talked about Africa being where folks are going in the topic's headline, Now we know that there are pros and cons. Some obviously have a feeling that comes over them, which is interesting. I don't know if that's what I'm ready for, but I do know that recent events have necessitated that Negroes need to consider an escape route. Now, again, this is not a held thought I had in the past. In fact, I already said to many of you to stand fast and not make any effort toward leaving. But now there's a different message I'm receiving. And I'll get into depth of that after a while. Let me see what else I can see. Make you smile. All right, the happiest countries in the world. Let me let you see it. The happiest countries in the world list does not reflect one attracting Black expats. Interesting. Now, you're talking about leaving. Statistics and polls annually released to determine the happiest countries in the world, but they don't reflect where Black expats are migrating. Happiness is an emotional state typically characterized by feelings of joy. Well, you open that, okay? That's a good opening. So, to a little surprise, a study that rates the happiest country in the world often overlooks the countries that Black people, and particularly Black Americans, by Black Americans they mean Negroes that are yet woke, are increasingly relocating to. This young woman here is in Lisbon, Portugal. Now, as a woman, I will say this, as a woman in a foreign country, you may have an advantage as to your acceptance over a Black male, over a Negro male. I point to the instance of a Negro that went over, I believe it was Greece, and decided to cozy up to a Grecian restaurant maid, server there. He was getting a little too close to her. Oh, did I tell you that I mentioned they chased him down the street and murdered him? Yes, they did. Those wonderful Greek all-inclusive individuals. So go there at your own risk if you are a Black male. World Happiness Report is an annual study by the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network that measures the happiness of individual companies. It uses global service data from more than 150 companies. Yada, 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 yada. Finland or Ghana? Well, doesn't that sound interesting? Finland has been capitalizing on its status as the happiest place in the world, which is a nice brag. As are regularly witnessing the Northern Lights and the country's low crime and corruption rates, Ghana, on the other hand, has been seriously welcoming Black Americans to relocate to the country since 2019. But with its Year of the Return campaign, that year marked 400 years since Africans were enslaved and taken from the west coast of Africa and dispersed throughout the Caribbean, United States, South America, and Europe in the 3 years since. Ghana has, who claim they are happier there due to the huge Black populations, lower price and access land. So they've seen a huge influx of a Black American, and please don't call us settlers. Denmark compared to Costa Rica. Iceland compared to Senegal. I mean, can you see where we're at here? Switzerland compared to Panama. The Netherlands compared to Portugal. What are we doing, folks? I'm starting to see a pattern. Well, the happiest places of the world seem to be the whitest places in the world. Can I say that, Detrina? I'm sorry, it already came out, and we're live. While the not happiest places listed in the world are the places where Negroes are invited to come in droves. Well, who would have known? Because the news said so, I suppose. Yeah, there you go. So, okay, we want to leave. But it looks as if everywhere we go, we may not be well received. And I, for one, now that I've come undone regarding being here, staying here, living here, remaining here, I now look to only location and execution as my last two tasks. And, you know, we got to go. I'm going to say it again. We got to go. We have to leave this place. And the evidence to do so is right in our face. I mean, listen, not only do we have Nazi Germany as a perfect example of, you know, when the time to leave is ample, like right now, like as soon as possible, but at least before January 20th, 2025 somehow. And I'm going to tell you why. You know, this boy Trump, this boy Donald Trump, he's serious about this. And the message that he's delivering, I choose to not miss. I kid you not, folks. This man is on a path, and that path will lead to a repeat of history. This man is cyclically caucastic in his nature. He is generationally infected with the causality of caucasity. He is moved to merge with his ancestors who urged all of those in his kin to do the Jews in. And so now I say that today it's Negroes who are in the way. And you can see this. And by God, we cannot stay. Now listen. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. It's going to be brutal. There's a reason that we need to leave this place. And we're going to talk about it a little bit more here. All right, but let's get to some more interesting stuff. So let's say Africa is not what you love. How about Brazil? Black expats. Why black expats should come and experience Brazil's culture? I don't know. What's up there, brother? How you doing? Marketing executive. His name is Okonkwo. Okonkwo does not look like a Negro, but so let me move on. Marketing executive Ike Okonkwo, I think I'm pronouncing that just so, is a black expat in Rio de Janeiro. Thanks for the help. Brazil, originally from San Juan, Puerto Rico, before living overseas, this 27-year-old moved to Boston to attend Harvard University to study neuroscience and economics, and then went on to pursue an MBA/MA at the Wharton School of Business and Lauder Institute in Philadelphia. Well, before we continue with his bona fides, Trump went to the Wharton School of Business. What does this do? Is he living the dream? I suppose that's what he might be. Who knows? However, before becoming an expat, traveling is an activity he has been experiencing since he was a child. I don't care what you call yourself. Currently owning a travel agency, Okonkwo shared with Travel Noir his experience as black expat in Rio. Living in Rio, doesn't it look cool? Oh yeah. Chose to live there, 2 reasons. Natural beauty, favorite hotspot for friends who like to travel and work. Rich Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He likes jiu-jitsu. That's nice. Question, is it a good place for expats? Well, he's got a smile on his face, doesn't he? Sure does. Largest Afro-descendant population outside of Africa, so it is not difficult to find. Brazil, the places where you will fit in as a black expat. Brazilians are generally known for being very welcoming and easygoing. You know, I'm going to stop here. Let me tell you something why I'm knowing. All right, look, let me tell you something. From this point of view, from an individual such as you, sir, I can imagine it's a very pleasant experience. I can only imagine, though, with a Negro that tries to do so, what he might go through. And the reason I say that is we are easily identifiable. We are easily divisible. We are easily looked upon and seen as Negroes, set apart. And the energy that we carry with us is felt. It's tangible. And let's go there. When a person who is identified as a Hamite, because I don't know that he is a Negro, I don't know, he could be so. When he speaks, however, though, he knows that people hear his voice. He knows that they don't make a Negro choice. And so I imagine the smiles by a mile or wide, and he doesn't really feel like an exile, like you and I. See, there's expats and their exiles. You can feel like an exile in these places. Because let me tell you, they take notice of Negro faces. Next! All right, well, okay, so what do we know? What do we know? Other places you can go other than Africa. Cool. I mean, I don't know. What about Japan? Media company asks, what is it like? What's it like to be black in Japan? I gotta tell you, I don't know. Recent media company, Jubilee, posed the question, how are black people regarded in Japan? Video description says the spectrum is taking over the world, exploring the black experience one continent at a time. Okay. The participants were given a prompt by an unseen interview. Afterward, they walked to the line representing their answer and later explain why they chose it. Wow, that's interesting. Japan isn't very ethnically diverse. Well, no, duh. All right, we don't need to think about that. There was a range of black people included. At the Tokyo Temple in Japan, black people born in Japan and black expats congregated. Aisha was born on Japanese soil, while Raymule hailed from Nigeria. Chipa has lived in Japan for 13 years. Zambian. Sion, Bahamas. Other Americans, Jasmine, Artel, and Stephen. How was the issue of racism tackled? Well, the general consensus was that racism in Japan isn't as blatant as it is in the US. Jasmine says, I think our blackness hasn't really interfered much or gotten in the way of opportunities, but it's really difficult explaining this to my family. Arthel, who called Japan home for much of his life, said it was easier for him to forget about race. Been there 16 years, said that we're not experiencing the same vitriol. Arthel noticed that not all black people have the privilege of leaving their state, let alone their country, which limits their world view. But on a sad note, Ramu said during a trip to Nigeria, she saw many people bleaching their skin. They had the erroneous idea that the lighter one is the more desirable in their mind. So now we know a little bit about Japan. We know a bit about Brazil. We know a bit about a few other places still. This lady moved to Kenya and said she realized she was black after she had a son in Virginia. In Kenya. Very good rhyming. Cradling the newborn son one night, suddenly began to sob. Something had dawned on me that filled me with fears. I was the mother of a black son in America. I was born in Kenya and I moved to the US after, oh my goodness, really? So, she felt it. So the reverse can be felt. All right, so there we go. So we got it. So we know what's up. We know, right? What do you guys think? What do you think about leaving this place? What do you think about, exporting your Negro face? Talk amongst yourselves, and of course, Katrina and Antoine Anderson. They will keep the conversation going and answer as I would, and they are both prone to do that very good. I'm going to tell you, folks, for years, I've been having an experience, a personal experience. And recently, and I do mean it recently, like just yesterday and this morning, I was hit with an epiphany. Now, I'm not going to invoke the term and usage of phrases like the Spirit moved me or God put something on my heart. I'll leave that to more spiritually connected people. People, I will say, that are better than I. I will say that. But I will tell you that I had confirmation this day that us Negroes need to get away from this place and take with us our Negro face at a quickening pace. I'm going to tell you, for the last 5 years, I've been plagued with a dream. And I've said this before. And it's not a plague in that it affects me physically, but it has me in a quandary until just recently. And now I've resolved it. Let me tell you how I solved it. So the dream involved confinement. And I'm not one to be confined. I don't like confinement. And the reasons are mine. But I'm sure as a Negro growing in this place, everybody can guess and don't need to see my face. Confinement is not in alignment with me at all. So here's the deal. Every night for 5 years, this dream seemed real. In what seems like an institution, I can't call it a prison, but for 5 years, every single night, this same dream, when I've ever had the capacity to remember the dreams I've had, this one is the only one I've had. I'm surprised it hasn't driven me mad. We are all in this place, Negroes, and some not Negro-faced. But all of us there have a connection, okay? And it doesn't seem like we're there for our protection. And here's the reason I say that. The place is white in structure. It is a white building. It's huge. And we're all in and amongst it. But here's what's interesting, folks. Here's the interesting part. It gives the ideation that it is some sort of institution, a prison of some sort, but there is nothing keeping us in. There are fences all around the prison, all around the institution, but we are free to leave. I've gone outside the infrastructure of this large prison I've seen every night. And I haven't had a single fright. Nobody has said anything for going out of sight. I've not had it. I go back in, I go up, I go down, I've gone throughout the entire grounds, and they're filled with Negroes. So last night I said, listen, I got to figure this out. And just today, I got confirmation that Negroes got to get out. That, my friends, is the message I portend. It's my belief that this dream started right around 2019, and I've been having it every night. I'm telling you what I'm seeing. And just today, I asked for confirmation of what that dream told me yesterday, and I got it. So I'm going to say, it's time for Negroes to leave this place. And so I throw that right in your face. I don't care the perils. I don't care if you leave this place and the struggle is real. Let me tell you why. Because this place is doomed. This place is doomed. This place is doomed. Now they are cascading right toward the precipice of destruction. They are moving in double time, full step. And with Donald Trump taking the lead, all of these white nationalists will cascade this place into a Civil War 2.0. And then, where will Negroes remaining here go? I don't know. And so, again, I say it is time, and I start today to make plans, to do everything to be out of the way, minimum before Inauguration Day. And again, that's January 20th, 2025. I think if we're not out of here, you may not stay alive. The Bible calls for this place to be destroyed, not a place where Negroes can make house and live well enjoyed. I don't know. How do I go there? I don't know. But again, this is going to be an active movement for me. I personally, it's not something, before I had an ideation that we could all move as one Negro nation. And I don't know that might reignite. I don't know. But let me tell you right now on the Doug Rice Show, I am leaving. And I'm saying that with finality. And please don't take my words with banality. We are leaving, Negroes. And by what I have surmised, permission to leave has been delivered to my eyes. We got to go. The white, huge structure that has housed us for 400 years is now open for our exit. And we are instructed to get out of Babylon before we suffer her curses. Dare I say, any Negro that is on the streets at war against or for democracy, Republicans, or God, who knows even more, well, whatever fate these Europeans suffer, well, you can believe that Negroes will suffer, and it'll be hell. So that's it, folks. I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here before January 20th, 2025. I believe that Donald Trump might still be alive and open to taking that presidential position. And from that point, I believe he'll have a mission. You don't want to be here as a Negro. And that's all I'm saying. And well, I'm just said so. All right, let's talk about this a little bit more, though. All right, my very personal taste of racism abroad. For an African American woman, a study abroad program in Italy led to an eye-opening experience, disgusting Black women with the stinging words of one racial encounter. This is by Nicole Phillips, and this, up until about 5 years ago, I didn't have much experience of being Black outside the United States. And what I mean is, with the exception of a few family vacations in the Caribbean and Mexico, I didn't know what it might feel like to travel while Black abroad. So let's see what happened. During orientation, the Italian instructors talked about customs and other important practices to take note of. What I remember most is one woman from the program telling us to be mindful that Italians can be bold or politically incorrect. And that was one way to put it. Interesting. So, for me, it began with passers-by on the street calling me Michelle Obama, Rihanna, or Beyonce, as though I can resemble all three, and the Italian men selling Pinocchio marionettes with the piazza near the famed cathedral shouting, "Coccolata, chocolate." Interesting. So we see, we're going to go through it, folks. It ain't just me. We are going to get it from all sides, but let me just say, don't move to Italy. Jesus, give me a break. Don't go to Italy. Don't go to these European places. I mean, there are some places that will accept Negro faces, and one is Ghana. This is where I should be. 1,500 Black Americans make Ghana their new home. At least 1,500 Black Americans have moved to Ghana recently, 2019, when the government declared its year of return, calling on Africans in the diaspora to return to Africa as the U.S. continues to confront its history of racism and police brutality against Black people. Many are heeding the call. So I'm not going to need to read all of this, but the last straw for me was George Floyd. Just stuck out to me when I increased. So there's a reason for us to leave. We're not welcome. We're not liked. This is not a place that was built for us here in America. There are other excerpts of moving anywhere but Africa. I mean, we have Italy. We've got here living in Hong Kong. I mean, that's got to be amazing. Okay, Hong Kong. So, what do you guys think? What do you think? Now, as the show progresses, I'm going to move on to having guests come on so they can talk about it. So I have something here that says I can invite guests, and I definitely want to do that. But not today, because first my voice is going away. There are other topics and other news-worthy bits of information that I think could really help the Negro nation. Tricky allure of becoming a Black American expat. So what I get from this is just be careful where you go as you show your Negro face, because you just never know. You never know how it might work out. You might be in paradise and you might have to get out, bug out. All right, so that's about it, folks. First, let me tell you as well, I appreciate you tuning into this effort. I do. I thank you so much. Also, if you are so inclined to want to, support this effort, I would love to be that conduit, to be that person that helps you do it. We have PDFs that we give in compensation for the show's support, and I'm hoping that some of you feel so inclined to do just that. I'm trying to get the right source here so I can make sure you see it. All right, here we go. All right, so listen, folks, I want to do this full time and not do anything afterwards, but I will continue to do this as I've done this for years. But I love my moderators. I love both of them, Katrina and Antoine Anderson. They are paramount, intricate. They are vital to this show's operation, because if they're not monitoring the chat and I start doing it, well, that's that. I can't keep up with reading and give the due topics the attention they're needing. And so, if you don't mind, I'll be begging and pleading how you support my moderators. Hey, is that a good way to put it? Is through donations, is through you guys showing your support, so that I can make sure Katrina and Antoine are taken care of, because what they do is valuable. So that is the amount. You can freeze that there. Give, and you will get this amount of PDFs. I'll round off the dollars, so it's just use round numbers. Anywhere, $1 will get you one PDF. $200 will get you 60. Let me just say this. I don't know if you can see, but you might want to freeze your computer. I don't think I can get that larger, so you're going to have to deal with that right now. Got several PDFs that are available, folks. I'll read some of them. Excuse me, losing my voice. Nature knows no color line. Excellent PDF, very big. Lost Tribes, a myth, suggestion towards rewriting Hebrew history, a medium file, 175 megs. These are very large documents. I'll give you a peek at this one, I suppose. That'd probably be okay. This is a large document, Lost Tribes, a myth, suggestions toward rewriting Hebrew history. And again, if you like what you saw today, you'll get this and many more rare, hard to find PDFs sent to you for your donation amount. And of course, that's predicated. It doesn't matter what you want. You can have whatever you want. If you want the large PDF for $1, I'll send it. But I got up to 60 of them, mix and match. I've got all kinds of different types. And so just want to let you know. All right, that's about it. All right, that's the show. It is 10:44, quarter till. I could probably go on still, but I've said enough. You guys know the drill. My name's Doug Rice. New focus now. Leaving this place somehow. We got to go. It's time to leave. Brother Yacoba, Brother Teyao, Brother Dante Fortson, The three ministers, I call them, those are the folks that you go to for spiritual nourishment. I will give you those individuals if you wish biblical reference in why we need to leave. That is not my lane, as I perceive. But leave we must now. I understand that somehow. And I hope as you listen to this, you get that connection. We have to get out of this country for our own protection. Okay, that's it. All right, I got to go. You guys have yourself a great day. I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, thank you to Trina. Thank you, Antoine Anderson. It's time to go. I'm leaving. All right, guys, I got to go. Y'all have a good day. I think it's Wednesday. I don't know. Is it Thursday? It's Thursday, right? Yeah, it's Thursday, so y'all have a good day. Tomorrow's Friday, and we'll see you then. All right, bye-bye. Wait! Jesus. Hold on. Too late? Hey, sorry, listen. I'm getting new to this, so I've got to remember to stay true to this form. What we're going through is not the norm. What Negroes experience is our daily experience. It is unlike anything any other group experience because it's uniformly the experience coming from other nations. They treat different nations differently. Each nation treats each other nation, and they have them in different regard. And we know, you can see it. It ain't too hard, but Negroes have a special place in their heart, And so at this point, and with what I'm seeing coming out of this joint, you better be on your best attentive behavior. I'm telling you, only the Most High can save you. But as you go about your day as a Negro on your way, please listen to what I have to say. Okay? If you come across these individuals and they're going to be in your way, they're going to smile in your face, and I'm sure you're going to fight the urge to want to smile back. But listen, just try this, just as a matter of fact. If you've got to be out and amongst sarcastic faces, do me a favor, will you? Get that goddamned grin off your faces. I appreciate that. I really do. Hey, you have a good day.